This is the Board of Public Works meeting. It's Monday, December 11, 2023. We're at 965 Plain Street, it's being recorded by MCTV. We have an appointment, 6:15, with Kevin Sealand, Bridle Crossing Development off Ferry Street. We have action items, two of them. Waste oil location at the wastewater treatment facility. And number two is the ward contract number 2024-04 Bay Ave in Gurnett Road Beach Nourishment Program. We have a discussion, an indirect charges discussion. And we're going to vote to accept the minutes of November 13, 2023. We have the superintendent's report. And our next scheduled meeting is January 8, 2024. It's subject to change. Do I have a second?
You second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So, that is our agenda for tonight. So, is it okay if we go right ahead to?
I would.
Yeah. Okay, Bobby, will you take this? This is Kevin Sealand. Hello? Oh, maybe he's a little late.
Here he comes.
Oh, okay, well.
Well, we'll just do the two items and we'll get
Yeah,
going.
okay, all right. Yeah. Let's go to the waste oil location at the wastewater treatment facility. That's the oil for the commercial fishermen. And I looked into it with the superintendent. They actually made a recommendation, maybe we could put it at the wastewater treatment facility. I'll let Sean take it over because he went ahead and met with Clint Stetson, the supervisor there, and you want to fill in the audience, what happened?
I certainly will. So we went down, after talking with you, John, about a location where it would work for everybody and not interfere with the pier and so forth. Myself and Jimmy Kent went down and met with Clint Stetson, and we came up with a spot at the wastewater facility plant that's already got the diked area for containment, and we have a brand new 500-gallon waste oil tank we're going to put down there shortly after this meeting, probably sometime this week.
Oh, be this week?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the fishermen are going to be able to use it Monday through Friday when the plant is open. So we have somebody there from the plant to monitor what's going on and so forth. And on the weekends, if they have to get rid of oil, they go to the transfer station.
That's correct, yes. Yeah, we'll still leave that open.
We're going to leave that open.
Okay.
So that's where we stand. We're going to make it a little bit easier for everybody, and we have a nice place to bring the oil, and it's going to be well contained and well monitored.
That's fine. How big of a tank?
500 gallons.
Wow.
It's brand new.
500
It's out in the garage.
Okay, and it's in a self-contained area?
Yes.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we,
Can I have a comment?
go ahead, I'm sorry, Bob, go ahead.
Remember the Buzzards Bay oil spill? A few years back down in Buzzards Bay. There was a fund that established, Marine Oil Fund, where there's so many cents per gallon, a barrel that comes into the Commonwealth, and Mass DEP manages that. There could be funding that we could get, so that it doesn't have to go on the taxpayers. We should look into that.
Yeah, we could do that. I mean, this,
Because
the plant needs to get rid of their waste oil as well, so it's going to
Yeah.
benefit them as, on top of,
My point is, so that the ratepayers don't, the sewer ratepayers, or the ratepayers of Marshfield, or the taxpayers, there's a fund that was already been established for the purpose of making sure that there's no oil that gets into the marine environment.
yeah, we can look into that.
So we should look into the funding of that. That will help out the town of Marshfield's ratepayers
Very
and the
good.
taxpayers.
That's true, yeah. Thank you for
So
that.
I'm okay with the,
Okay. All right, I'll make a motion that we accept the recommendations for putting a 500-gallon oil receptacle for the commercial fishermen at the wastewater treatment plant. Do I have a second?
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. The second one is award contract number 2024-04 Bay Ave and Gurnett Road Beach Nourishment Program. That be you, Rod?
Yes.
Step right up.
Been working on this thing right up to the last minute. I do have a revised motion I want to give the board. And I'll explain.
Merry Christmas. What is this? Here you go, Andy. Hold on to that.
You ready for me? So, we're in the process of bidding a beach nourishment project. The town received grant money from the state, coastal resiliency grant. Duxbury also received a grant, and it was decided that we would put both projects together. Town of Marshfield was going to be the lead on this, so the DPW put the bid specs together, and through recommendations by town council and their council, we came to an agreement on the terms and whatnot, put this out to bid, and we got our bid results. Within the last couple of days, we received a submittal from the low bidder, and his sand material didn't quite meet specification. And so I submitted to you earlier a motion, I'm amending that motion with this revised letter dated December 11th, to basically award the contract to the low bidder, subject to him providing the adequate material to meet the specification. And then if he doesn't do that by Friday noon, then we would award the next, the second lowest bidder, which was Duxbury LLC of Kingston, Mass. We'll award the contract to them. And they also have to provide within a week's time, basically. If they don't provide it, then we'll come back to the board and reconsider what to do. So that's kind of the general idea of this. We're looking at 75,000 tons to be trucked in, and we're using two locations. There's one off of Gurnett Road, on the Duxbury Beach Reservation. The first parking lot that you see, it's the third parking lot. We'll be using that as a staging area. And then Bay Avenue, Bay Street beach access ramp will also be used. So this beach nourishment would extend, say, north towards, basically towards the Green Harbor entrance there, about 1,000 feet more or less. It's going to depend on how much material we actually put down. The original amount that they designed for, planning specs were for 220,000 tons, something along those lines. So based on the bid amounts, our design consultant, Woods Hole Group, will modify the section and the length of the job to match the total amount that we're going to be able to place on the beach, based on the available funding that we have. We basically have $4 million to apply to the beach nourishment project for the segment placement. So they'll start as soon as we can get everything signed off, and their bonds and their plan of action is approved. And we need all the time we can get, because we have till the end of March to get this work done. After that, there's no time extensions. I've been told. So, so I revised the motion to reflect basically that, instead of just awarding it to the apparent low bidder, Sumco, it would, you know, it's to Sumco, but it's contingent upon them providing the approved material by Friday, and then if not, and if they don't provide it, then we'll be awarding, rejecting their bid and awarding it to Duxbury Construction LLC.
Okay. All right, and where's the sediment coming from? Where are they finding this?
SLT is providing it, it's a borrowing pit. They're still, like I said, they're still trying to come up with the gravel component of this. There's about 20,000 tons of gravel that's mixed in with this sand. And it's been difficult to find this gravel component. And so that's what they have to come up with. They provided a sand mix to us, but it didn't have enough gravel in it. And this specification basically provided to us by CZM, Coastal Zone Management. And it was based on sampling on various points along the beach.
I understand.
So it
yeah.
did have some, you know.
Compatibility,
It was,
yeah.
yeah, it was site-specific, basically.
It's 90,000 tons approximately.
Right now, yeah, we're awarding it for the 75,000. We have enough money to go at least another 25%, but that's the way we bid it, was 75,000 tons, and then we'll come back and award the balance at a later date.
So that the letter says 90,000 tons, is that?
I said up to 90, I think, in the
Okay.
letter.
Okay, all right,
Yeah, approximately up to
Yeah, okay.
90,000.
all right, I'm fine,
But the actual bid amount was 75,000.
okay. Bob, do you have any comments?
No, I'm just, I'm delighted to see that we're actually
Yeah.
doing something at the beaches.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a long time coming. We've done a lot of work on seawalls, but without having sediment in front of it, then this only would protect the seawalls. But it's being put on the wrong beach. We need to have it on the other beaches. But it's a start. You know, 20 years ago, we all started on this journey to really protect the shorefront. We've always said, you know, beach now is being done, and the seawalls. So we're getting there. So I mean, at least now the state is actually coming up with money to support the municipalities. It's been a long time coming. I'm in full agreement here. Let's get this thing moving. Time is of the essence, because
Yeah.
the plumbers come in April, and you can't touch the beaches when the birds are out there.
The clovers, yeah.
The clovers. Are they clovers or
You
plumbers?
said plumbers.
Oh, clovers, okay.
I'm a plumber.
They're
by
little
trade.
birds. The little birds they eat down the islands. All right, they're
Those are
delicacy.
my friends.
All right. So,
Coming in late.
okay, I make a you want to make the motion, or you want me to make the
Go ahead,
motion?
you can do it, Bob.
Excuse me.
To award contract 2024-04.
Wait a second, time out.
Sorry, hi. Will there be any opportunity for the public to
Sure.
weigh in on this at all?
Oh, sure, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm a Duxbury resident, and I live on the beach.
Can we have just your name? So
Sure, Alicia Babcock, 9 Ocean Road South in Duxbury. I have a couple of concerns that I just wanted to raise, if possible. I am concerned that they're not able to find the quantity of gravel that we need, if any. And when the project goes out for the secondary award for the balance of the project, so we can use all the grant money, if they can't find the material to fulfill the front end of the project, I have concerns that they'll be able to find it for the balance, and we don't want to leave any money on the table. You know, we've got $4 million to spend. My other question is,
Can you take that question first?
You take that question first.
sure,
Yeah, so they have to meet spec with the 75,000, and then if the board awards the rest of the 25%, that has to meet spec.
Right.
There's no question.
All has to meet spec.
It has to be what we're, the motion.
No, I understand, but if we give them an extension to find the material for this front part of the project you're talking about, is the bid also including the amount of material that would be for the secondary award you were talking about for the balance?
The second, so what I'm doing here is, if they don't meet spec by Friday,
Yeah,
the next lowest bidder has to meet spec. They're awarded the contract, the other one is rejected.
yeah,
The next lowest bidder is Duxbury, they have to meet spec. If they don't meet it, then my advice to the board, or recommendation to the board at this time, is we'll come back, reconvene, reconsider what we're doing. Whether we reject everything, go back out to bid, or whatever they decide to do. But
Okay.
we're just saving a step here, because they haven't provided us with a clear, specific, material that would meet that spec yet, but they wanted a few more days, and on the advice of town council, he asked us to give them till Friday, like at noon time.
okay.
So they have to that time to show us where they're gonna get the spec and the material meets spec, and prove to us that, basically meets spec.
Just a couple of follow-ups.
Yeah.
When you say meet spec, does that also require them to tell you where it's coming from? And will this material be tested from these sources to make sure that we're not bringing any contaminants onto the beach?
I'll have to check with our consultant on that, but I would think that it's already been tested if it's coming out of a borrowing pit. They will provide us with their documentation. Typically, that's when we buy, they'll provide.
Is that part of the bid document? Is that what was requested of them, or is that something that has to still be requested? Because that seems like, with all the PFAS and all of the controversy about.
I can't answer that question,
Yeah.
but we will make sure of that. I mean, typically, those borrowing pits already have their test results, and, they can show to us that their material is clean.
Before we award the bid, though, to whoever,
Well,
will that be a requirement of Duxbury and Marshfield to
No.
make sure that there are no contaminants in the material?
Not before we award it, but before we sign the contract. We're gonna award it, and they have to meet specification.
Okay,
And then we will ask them to provide the information, and if they don't, then we're gonna reject it, and we're gonna go to the next bidder, and then they have to provide the information. So whatever we have specified in the spec, they have to meet, and they should provide, we will ask them to provide that piece of paper to the contamination issue.
okay. And then just one last thing. It seems like there is more information that has to be collected, like you're saying, you award it, and then they have to supply you information. So
Correct.
let's just hypothetically say they aren't able to get you what you need by Friday, and now we go to the next one. Now, we're sort of like, the weeks are starting to creep out, and we've got a hard deadline at the end of March because of the birds, and so we don't want to waste any time. And as I understand it, when you put a bid request out, I think when any bidder bids on something, it has to be a complete bid. And so if this particular contractor doesn't have a source and bid on the project without having a source for the material, it seems disqualifying to me. So I'm kind of surprised that town council would encourage an extension.
We ask them to meet the spec. They have time to meet the spec. They're committing, they have a bid bond, they're committing to meet the spec. The town, if they don't meet the spec, the town could choose to talk to the bonding company on it too, if they don't, as well, so. But they have time to provide the material. We do that with all our contracts. If there's certain equipment that we specify and they want to come up with approved equal, we give them time to come up with the approved equal. They have to meet the performance spec that's there to match what we name, and they're given time to do that.
Okay.
But I understand time is of the essence here.
Yes.
And that's why we put the deadline in for Friday, and it was a recommendation from town council to extend it to at least Friday.
Okay, well, if this material was difficult to find, I just wanted to bring up that there is a concern, at least from my end of the beach, about bringing in material that is hazardous or contaminated. And so I just want to make sure that wherever they're locating it from, that we're not kind of like sacrificing quality and health for,
Our consultant has seen the first part of their sample,
Yeah.
and she said it's remarkably clean.
okay.
She was amazed that, that it didn't have hardly any fines in it, and that was something that she was looking for on Friday afternoon when I delivered the sample.
So Rod, can I, on the specification was not written by us of Duxbury. It was written by the grantor, which is CDM, correct?
It was written by Woods Hole Group too, but I think in conjunction, I guess,
And approved by,
yeah, CZM was involved in the envelope that was specified. So they had their sieve analysis had to meet the gradation within tolerances.
okay.
All right, so that was, all that is approved by CZM,
Right.
and the samples were taken by Woods Hole Group. They developed the envelope. It was approved by CZM. We've gone back twice already because contractors said they can't find the material, they can't meet that spec. A whole group of them, we had a pre-construction meeting, and they came back to us. So we made adjustments to that, and so now we have an envelope that they have to meet. That's went out to bid, that's what they're bidding on, they have to meet that particular spec.
So on the particular specification of the soil, right, the issue is the gravel component to it, not necessarily the sand component?
Right. They have the sand, they want more gravel.
They want more gravel.
You want more stone.
More stone.
Right. It's gotta
Because
be
the
rounded.
stone will stay, and the sand will move around.
What they're looking for is bank run. And bank run is a particular type of soil that comes in veins. You'll see it when you dig into a bank. It's the stony material that's in the middle of the bank. It gets sand, hardener, and the bank run. They're looking for the bank run to put on the beach to hold the sand in place so it doesn't wash away as quick.
Okay.
Well, we've already scaled back this project because of, Woods Hole
Cost.
scaled it back. So we just want to make sure that we're getting the most nourishment possible for this grant, and that we're doing it, in times before the March deadline. So again, not that I don't have a vote here, but it just seems to me like this is an incomplete bid, and I think we should move on. In the purposes of time saving, we have no idea how long this is gonna go on.
There's a question at the back.
Joe Pasevich, Wilson Road. Are the specifications pertaining to those various testing parameters part of the contract you're voting on tonight?
The sieve analysis, they had to meet a specific envelope.
How about chemical analysis?
No,
It's not part of the contract?
I don't believe so, they didn't have to
Is
provide
a
that.
copy of that contract you're voting on tonight, is there a free copy available?
I will get you that.
Tonight or?
No.
Huh?
Tomorrow, is that good enough?
Thanks.
Okay.
Anything else? Well, I'm very concerned if there's any contamination. There would become a whole 21E issue that we would not want our towns to get involved in that.
Sure.
But we should check, we should have, as part of the sieve analysis, have it for chemical analysis also.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll make the motion as written. A motion to award contract 2024-04 to Sumco Echo Contracting, Peabody, Mass, to provide beach nourishment to portions of Bay Avenue and Duxbury Beach in the amount of $2,688,800, and authorize the chairman or designee to sign the contract when the documents are prepared. Said award is subject to receiving approval by Coastal Zone Management for material being provided. Should Sumco Echo Contracting fail to provide the sediment material that meets specification by Friday, December 15th, 2023, by 12 p.m., Sumco Echo Contracting bid will be rejected, and Duxbury Construction LLC of Kingston, the next qualified low bidder, will be awarded contract 2024-04 in the amount of $3,200,000. And the chairman or designee is authorized to sign the contract when the documents are prepared. Said award is subject to receiving approval by Coastal Zone Management for the material being provided. Should Duxbury Construction LLC fail to provide the sediment material that meets the specifications by Friday, December 22nd, 2023, by 12 p.m., their bid will be rejected. The board will seek recommendations from staff to reconsider the material at a future board meeting. And I'm adding, all sieve analysis will meet chemical specifications of being clean.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I think it's a great project,
Well, it's got a lot of check and balances here,
absolutely.
so
Okay.
coastal zone management's in there 3 times. Here you go, Annie. Okay, we've taken care of the action items. Now we have the appointment with Kevin Sealand, private property development off Ferry Street.
Can we get Kevin a couple seats up here?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Go ahead.
Okay.
My name is Darren Grady from Grady Consulting. I'm here with Kevin Sealand from Sealandport. We're here tonight about a project at Ferry Street. This is a 40B that was...
Excuse me, if you can't hear anything you're saying back here.
Okay, I will speak up. My name's Darren Grady from Grady Consulting. I'm here with Kevin Sealand from Sealandport. We're here regarding the Ferry Street project. Used to be called Bridle Path. It's been redesigned and it's called Bridle Crossing now. Our previous application was done and approved by the Marshfield ZBA in, I think it was 2017, and it was appealed and remanded back to the board. Our new design and also our new construction team includes Kevin Sealand from Sealand Corp. And also Matt Dacey from Champion Builders. They both have a ton of experience with these types of developments. The site has changed dramatically, except for the entrance road is very similar to the previous one. It's 24 foot wide. It's got a cul-de-sac that meets subdivision rules and regulations, 20 feet wide. The parking in the previous plan was along the street. There's only one area where we have parking along the street here now. Every other one has a separate parking lot between the buildings. The profile is what's changed dramatically in this plan. The entrance stayed the same, but down near the cul-de-sac, the amount of cut has been changed from the previous application. It was finished grade to existing grade of 56 feet. It's been reduced to 32 feet. The amount of gravel that's proposed to come out of here is 150,000 versus the 355,000 that was approved in the ZBA decision. We believe the gravel can be removed anywhere from 7 to 18 months. We'd like to continue to, with the proposed routes as far as truck traffic through the salt shed area and Clay Pit Road. We did do a new traffic report. The traffic report for this development, which has 56 units, as opposed to the previous one that had 20 units. Traffic is still below threshold, does not require a traffic impact analysis. We're proposing the same lane striping out at Berry Street, so the intersection has not changed. The grades and the drainage in the right-of-way have not changed. The drainage on the site has changed dramatically, though. All the drainage here is underground galleys, except in the right-of-way, which we used the same trench configuration we had in the previous. But we have a galley system here, septic systems here, and then galley system here on this side, septic system, and then it goes galley system. The reason that we are doing that is to keep the 50-foot separation between any septic system and any infiltration device that's required by mass rules and regulations. The utilities that are proposed here are the same as before. We have water, gas, electric, all underground. Septic is done through nitrogen reducing technologies. And the other portion of the project that we're working on right now, and Kevin met with, I think it was Trails Committee the other day.
Right, they're gone.
We were looking at the entrance here and how to improve it with the intersection of Bridle Path. It's not on this plan right now, but based upon that meeting, there was a change. We're gonna make this cut through as far right across Bridle Trail, across the right of way at a 90-degree angle. We're looking at the possibility of maybe a covered entrance that would kind of add an aesthetic value to this development. Primary concern about the configuration here is safety. So we're going to add some color treatment to the crossing and really make it visible to where people may cross this right away. The architectural plans here have increased in quality from the previous versions. I don't have a full blow-up of it, but it's been in the packets. I don't know if you guys need to look
I
at
have
these.
package. Yeah, we have
Okay.
it.
Yeah, good.
The units are, the architecturals are just about done. They're of higher quality than before. But mainly we're here to talk about the drainage, the access, and the access for the truck routes. Do you have anything else that you want to talk about?
No, we did, the previous applicant, which would have been Peter Armstrong, negotiated with the DPW about using the Clay Pit Road come on Clay Pit Road and truck traffic to minimize the truck traffic out on Ferry. So we'd like to continue with that.
Again, you can't hear.
Would like to continue to use Clay Pit Road.
They can't hear you.
Would like to continue to use the Clay Pit Road access for truck traffic and during construction.
Where is the, I know, where is it? Can somebody give us some boundaries as to where the entrance would be, or where it is exactly on Ferry and?
It's about 150 feet, let's see, that'd be what, east?
So the access as far as where
North.
Clay Pit Road is?
Yeah. No, not Clay Pit Road, the entrance to the project,
Where the
from
development
Waltham.
would be.
Across the street from Waltham,
Waltham Ave is here.
right.
Heading towards Humboldt.
So
Right.
where the
Right.
existing entrance is into that.
Exactly. So there's an existing right-of-way that connects 10-acre parcel in the rear to Ferry Street.
So there'd be, what was it, 56 units?
Yes.
How many bedrooms?
So there's 88 bedrooms total and leasing office.
So possibly 80 cars parked there, coming and going every single day. So we'll have 200 cars driving in and out of there every day.
No, so our traffic report shows a lot less. Peak AM and PM are like 40, 45, as far as what our traffic engineers told us.
45 cars.
Yes, peak.
Wait, that's on par with the Holly Road development.
I'm not familiar with that one.
The average in Massachusetts is 2 cars per household, which makes it 100 cars.
Well, so as far as parking.
112 cars.
No, as far
And
as
driving.
traffic.
And driving. Usually both people go to work, husband and wife go to work every day, or roommates.
So John.
So they would each have their own car.
The name and address.
Yeah, I know. No, the board will discuss it, then we'll take questions from everybody. But if you can give me your name so the secretary can put it down,
Mine?
so. Well, wait.
Well, okay, so when we do the, so why don't you state your name and address for the record, so we can get your comment.
Right now, I just have a clarifying question. Aileen LaRosa, Birch Road, Marshfield. I'm just not crystal clear on where the entrance to the development is. Is it across from Bridle Trail, or is it on Grove near the auto body shop?
It's on Ferry Street, away from the shops.
Is it across from the auto body shop?
It's across from Waltham.
I don't know Waltham.
Waltham Street.
I don't know Waltham.
Pearl's
I
Pond,
know where
where
it
is
is.
it in relation to Pearl's Pond?
It's about 100 yards from the bus turnaround.
Oh, okay.
Probably more like 200 yards
The
from
entrance
Pearl's
from
Pond.
Ferry.
It crosses the bridle path.
Ah, got it.
Oh.
So, okay,
Okay, hold
so,
on now.
the woman over here, your name and address?
My name is Deb Peterman. I live on 39 Bridle Path Lane in Marshfield. My question is, have you obtained frontage for that property, or isn't that town-owned property to get into the development?
So it's
You'd need an easement, basically?
I believe it was town-owned property in which there was an agreement to allow them to cross it.
For apartment, for apartments?
Under
Or to
the,
access
But
the
Bobby, that's an old agreement.
huh?
What was the agreement?
This is
It's an old
old.
agreement.
It's an old agreement.
This is an old agreement.
To access.
This is a new subdivision
Right.
that I don't think you can tag this on to
No.
Peter Armstrong's.
It's a deeded right-of-way
Yeah, it
for the
is.
property.
So it rides with the land.
But.
Yeah, but what you're trying to do
Hold on for a
is
second.
just bring this forward because you have something with Peter Armstrong. And this is a new development. It was 20 with Peter Armstrong, now you got 56. So this is brand new.
Completely understand, but it's a deeded right away, so.
Yeah.
And it's not tied to a particular project. It's tied to the land, so it rides with the land.
Yeah,
Like
but
any-
you've
like any
mentioned
right-of-way.
previous,
This was a
Yeah.
handshake
So this-
agreement
Well,
20
we're trying
years
to,
ago.
yeah,
we're
there's
trying to
no,
compare the project scope-wise.
yeah, but
that's
there's
why.
no previous agreement. We're looking at this as a new, brand new,
Brand new.
brand spanking new, yeah.
Okay. Any other comments? Let him finish up his Are you done with your presentation?
Yes.
Okay. So, one moment, let's let our third member come, Diane.
Sorry.
Okay. We're talking about the bridle path crossing new
Yeah.
development that's gonna go to the ZBA. It was a previous development with the ZB, with the zoning 40B development in 2017. Now it's arisen again. And presentation was just made that they're going from 24 units to 56 units, but they're taking out 2/3 less material than previous. Am I correct? Correct. That they're seeking a traffic approval from us to go to the Clay Pit Road
The salt shed area.
and the salt shed area. So it would be go through on town property. And they want to move 150,000 over a 4 to 6 month period?
7 months to 18 months.
7 to 18 months, okay. I was listening, you know. And then the concern is drainage, access, and no one's ever talked about our two most important wells in town, which is Ferry 1 and 2.
Yes.
That was my question.
Which has not been addressed.
Right.
Okay. So,
Can I make a recommendation?
so go ahead.
I think the board needs to talk about this right now,
Yeah.
before you take any more questions, or how you want to propose.
So I would propose that we have a discussion with town council. That there's a lot of issues here. Traffic, water supply, drainage, and the pros and cons of putting a 40B within the zone too.
To take the kids in.
Frontage.
One moment, we're talking. So that's what I think we need to do, from the board's perspective.
And the water,
Well, we did.
But that's what I'm saying, drainage, water supply,
the water supply.
right. So, one more.
Yeah.
Okay?
We have to look at different layers of this. It's not something that's been pre-approved and you're adding on to it. It's just as a brand-new subdivision. So there's a lot of layers to this that we need to discuss with town council and with our engineers.
Sure.
So I
And
think
with the
that,
public.
I think we can hear what the comments that people are, and I will get to you in a second. I think we will hear what people have to say. We're not making any decisions here tonight. We're gonna go slow with this. We're going to make sure that what we do
Protect the water.
is a protection of the town, its assets, and its water supply. So, having said that, I would like to schedule a meeting with town council and executive session, because this has to deal with land acquisition, property rights, and go from there. So we can schedule something with town council. So the rest of this component of this meeting will be to hear people's comments or questions. So what we're going to ask you to do is state your name, where you live, and our secretary will write down the questions. We're not going to give you an answer, because we don't have all the answers. Okay, so I'm going to start from on my right, your left.
Right
Right,
around.
you had your right hand up, right? So I'm going to start here, and you had your hand up first, then I'm going to you, and then I'm going to go right around the room, okay? So you're first. The name?
Laura Olson,
Laura Olson.
492 Ferry Street. I used to be in a butter, but I believe that there was a strip of land that Peter Armstrong worked out something with the town, because when I look at the town map now, it says Town of Marshfield behind my property instead of Peter Armstrong Construction.
Okay.
I'm just curious about that, but my question is actually what Mr. Cusick had mentioned. if there was an approval on the other plan, which was the 20 units, and there were never any definitive answers about that aquifer back there, how can they change it to 56 units? It looks not, that picture there looks nothing like the one I have from the original project. It's more than twice the size,
Yeah, it's 3 times.
and there's still no frontage.
Okay, that's
How
a
do we
good
get
question.
around that? I can't build.
Okay, so I'm going to, the Celtics player over here.
Yes, sir. Chris with a K, McCullough, 121 Somerville Street. Back to her question. So they've basically tripled the size of the development, but they've halved the size of the material that they'll take out? Does that make sense?
That's a good question.
Okay. And then secondary to that, with 56 units, is gonna bring, assumingly with a 40B, quite a few children to the town. Acceptable or unacceptable? Questionable, but let's just assume. Does the South River School District have the infrastructure to take on these assumed children that come in with 56 new housing units?
Okay, thank you for your questions. I'm not gonna give you an answer, 'cause
Acceptable.
I want to get all the questions down that we'll have.
Excellent.
Okay, now, lady in the, no, you behind.
Okay. Sue Turley, 455 Ferry Street.
So say your name again?
Sue Turley, Sue and Jeff Turley, 455 Ferry Street. My question is about traffic. We live right as the road bends, and regularly people drive right into our driveway. There's a big boulder, if you drive by, you can see there's a big boulder that has shifted about 15 feet from the most.
From the last truck that came storming through under a front yard.
Right. And so I'm just concerned, of course, that that kind of dangerous curve there be addressed.
You live on Pearl's Corner.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
but that's called-
Us
Yeah,
only
Pearl's
us
Corner.
counties that we remember
Pearl's
as
Corner.
Pearl's
Pearl's Corner, now
We
you
moved
know.
in during COVID zone
Yeah, okay.
anyway, but
You're dating yourself, Bob.
Okay, so your question is on on Ferry Street, the curve.
right.
What is there any plans for any protection of for traffic?
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
I'm just trying to make sure we get the.
Yes.
Okay, so go around the room. The lady in front, right here. With the blue
Yep, Lori
shirt.
Dahlin, Dahlen, 93 Summer Street. I have a couple things. I'm on the Agricultural Commission, so horses are one of the main things we are concerned about, and safety with regards to crossing the bridle trail. They mentioned colorizing, or I'm not quite sure what all that means, but if it means putting colored paint on pavement, that is the worst thing you can do for horses. It's like an ice skating rink when you put a horse on that. And what was done at the Ferry Street crossing with the red paint is horrible for the horses. So I'd like to see that not be allowed. And I'd like to ask that the Agricultural Commission be consulted when it comes to the design for that area. That's one item. Another, talk about taking out less fill, but why are you taking any fill out?
That's my
It's
question.
truly a 40B, you don't need to be taking fill out, just building something, you can rearrange it, but why are you taking it out? Another one is concerns about the, our water. So if it does get approved, is there gonna be some kind of multi-million-dollar bond that's held for the next 40 years as a safeguard against contamination cleanup, just like you were talking about for the fishermen and the fuel thing? It's a very similar situation. You know, if you go look at, what happened in Michigan, and other places around the country, water cleanup is disastrously expensive. And The last question I had was, 40Bs have low-income housing sections. Is it in perpetuity for those low-income units, or is it something that can be just sent away later? So I think
Okay,
that's something that
thank you
is.
for your questions. Okay, going around the room. Man in front.
Vincent Spacuzza, 101 Ferry. I'm the same with these guys. The 401B thing concerns me. A lot of kids. The school's going to be overwhelmed. They just built that new school, and I think it's just going to get overrun. And I don't have kids in school anymore, but I think the kids are going to suffer for it when you have so many kids going in there. Secondly, the water is another big issue. I've seen the town buy a house on Furnace Street, tear it down because they want to protect the water. So any kind of cleanup, I don't even want it. It shouldn't even be considered. If we even talking about a cleanup, then it's a bad idea. Honestly, I live on this side of town because I like it. It's quiet. It's a nice neighborhood area. Personally, I don't want this anywhere near my house. I don't want the traffic. I want no part of it. I think it's a bad idea. I think it's going to wreck this part of town. I'm completely against it.
Okay, let's see. Lady in front of the guy with the plaid shirt, and then I'll go with the guy with the plaid shirt.
Okay, my name's Mary Taylor. I'm from Grove Street, and I am an abutter. And first of all, I think we do need affordable housing. However, not at this particular junction on that particular piece of property. My concern is the capped landfill that abuts that 10 acres. And that capped landfill has been there for now 20 some odd years capped. And I know it's monitored. Do we have any idea what the testing wells, that situation is doing? And should this excavation that abuts it disturb any of that? I don't know. I don't understand how things are engineered. My next question is, how many septic systems are we talking about here? One for each building is substantive. I know the house on Ferry Street that's next door to my property was purchased for watershed protection, and that only had one septic system with it. And here we are talking about adding 7 potential, if I understand, looking at that 8, okay, 8 on that map.
One per building.
One per building, all right, 8 units, 1 per building. And that's a lot of large septic systems over our aquifer. That's deeply concerning. And lastly, what about sidewalks? I mean, that Ferry Street is historically twisty, turny, and deadly. And now you're going to add a potential, conservatively, 50 cars. 50, that's conservative. It's closer to 100. Given that most places, if they're 2 bedrooms, you're going to have probably 1.5 cars. So say 75 cars. I don't know where the study came that there's 40 cars. That doesn't include that development then, or the potentiality of that development. I question the traffic study based on what's happening. How does that traffic study include this new entity? If it's existing, yeah, there's only 40 cars. Yeah, I walk that bridle path every day practically, and crossing Ferry Street is extraordinarily dangerous regardless of the stripes and the stars and all the things that are there now. Nobody sees it. And because it's a curve, and the DPW has done a wonderful job trying to open that up. I also see your great employees tending those beautiful Ferry Street wells, and I'd be appalled to see anything. That's the best water we have in town. That water doesn't cost the town near as much as, say, the Furnace Street well does, because it's good water. And my bottom line is I'm terrified for this system to go this large of a development over our aquifer. It's terrifying to me as a person who's lived here my whole life and raved about the water in this town. We can't put the genie back in the bottle if the water gets polluted to that level.
Right. Okay. I think your questions are very well pointed. I have the same sentiments, the same ideas, and the same questions that you have.
Good, thank you.
this is, we bought Matuxet Woods.
We bought all
That
the
reason.
property about
Right.
So that's another, the person behind you.
Most of my questions were already asked, but I mean, are we gonna get a hard count of,
Name and address for the
oh,
record?
sorry, Greg, 272 Ferry Street. Are we gonna get a hard count of market, units versus affordable, 1 bedroom to 3 bedrooms, whatnot? Who will be paying for infrastructure damage, like when the roads, when 18 months of 18-wheelers go down a road, who's paying for that? Is it gonna be the developers, or is it gonna be our tax money? Since this is gonna be 40B, is this necessarily a preferred site when we have back here that's pretty open and could take this, where this area, not so much, especially over an aquifer? And then it really was the EPA consulted at all, because if you look at the topography, you look at the capped dump, it's going to go right through here, which is typically a filter, and basically end in the watershed where Little Creek is. So
Okay.
then more testings and whatnot.
Okay, thank you for your questions. Anyone else? I'll go with this guy with the black sweater.
Kenneth Blay, 1 Cranberry Cove. A couple of questions, and I've been trying to get information about this project. Wasn't able to find anything really anywhere about what was going on here, but supposedly this site has already been denied by the state for a 40B project because of the aquifer issues. I don't know anything about that. That's just what I was able to find online. Secondly, I'm in line with what Chris was saying. I have a daughter at South River School. This year they had to cut teachers because supposedly they told me they didn't have enough money. To me, it seems like we probably should deal with those types of problems first before we start adding to that problem. Statement, not necessarily a question, but I can make it a question. Are we going to do anything to fund additional teaching and schools and those types of things to support these types of additions to the community?
Okay, thank you for your question. Guy in the striped shirt.
Cy Carter, 191 Ferry Street, and it's mainly to do with the traffic, and I understand about the trucks, but where are they gonna go to?
Good question.
I mean, they're coming from there, they must be gonna go down Furnace Street, I would think, or is that the plan?
Good question.
And if they go to Furnace Street's already, because of all the action going from Clay Pit Road down towards the center of town, Furnace Street is kind of a very busy street, and there's a ton of traffic on it now, especially with the little preschool there.
Yeah.
The lights, I mean, sometimes there's 20, 25 cars waiting for the light to change. So again, I'm worried about the traffic problem in that area.
Okay, thank you for your question. Anyone else? A lady over here, standing up.
Aileen LaRosa, Birch Road. I actually echo just about everybody's concerns here. I actually learned a few things, and now I'm even more concerned about, I want to really amplify what the woman from the Department of the Agricultural Commission, because of the horses. We see horses up and down Summer Street and Ferry, and that is partly why we live here. We like the character and the history of this town, the quiet beachside community feel that it has. And the more we build, which feels like in service to, economics, it's actually taking away from the value of the town in the long run. And we cannot put it back once we take it away. So there's that concern about excessive building, changing the character of the town. Also, I'm very concerned about the traffic as well. I have 2 children that use the bridle path to safely get to the town center so that they can go get an ice cream, go to the skate park, go to the library. They have to get on to Church Street and Ferry for a brief time because they can cut through woods, they can cut through our back of our neighborhood safely, then they're very short distance there. Then they get on the bridle path, and once again, safely, they can go independently. This will impact them. there are no sidewalks, and the traffic will be exponentially more, and they could get hurt. And also, if the bridle path is being cut over with entrance into some kind of a neighborhood, that's more traffic that they have to contend with. And that takes further away from the natural environment that I am putting them into so that they can improve their health mentally, emotionally, and physically. So they need nature. We need more nature around us, not less. I'm also concerned about the taking away of whatever natural environment is there. So, you know, the climate is changing. We need buffers against it. We need trees. We need not to disturb the soil and keep the carbon in it. We need the animals to have a place so that they're not coming to us with their deer ticks and disease and coming into our yards and eating our chickens and everything else. So there's a huge impact in a lot of different ways. And I'm also concerned about the schools. There's only one middle school. They'll all end up there, whatever children come. And as it is, we don't have enough teachers and services for the kids we have. They are struggling mightily to meet everybody's needs over at the school, all the schools. The teachers are beyond stretched. So I think that basically covers it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
For your questions. Joe, and then the lady next to you.
Want to go first?
Joe Petzovich, that's what I
Okay.
see first.
Joe Pasevich, Wilson Road. A few things. I hope the board meeting to talk to town council, find out what the basis for the remand was, and what's going to be coming back for review. Also, does that include, for example, street cuts and the access way, which is under your purview? Are they going to address existing stormwater management issues that are on Ferry and Waltham right now? I understand that pit area is connected to this stormwater management that's on Ferry. So I don't know if that's included in the plans here or if that's a concern, and that's under your purview. Also, anything new with regards to signage or lighting that comes with this new plan, which I think at least partially would be under your purview. So those are all the issues that that you guys are going to be looking at. And again, especially I have to reemphasize, what about this street cut here? How does that fit into what you guys do as a DPW board? But again, what's the basis for the remand? What did the judge say needs to be looked at?
Okay, thank you, Joe.
I have a couple.
Go ahead, go fire them off.
And I'll be done. Deb Peterman, 39 Brighton Path Lane. So as a resident, I went through all this with Matuxet Woods. Now it's across the street. Same worries at Aquifer. That's sand. Sand perks really well. We all know that. Have they run any perk tests on it yet? Another thing is, we're a quiet residential community. To bring 56 apartment units into a residential community, it doesn't fit. There's no infrastructure for apartments. There's no amenities. There's no bus that goes through there. There are no stores that go through there. Of course, you could walk to the bridle path to CVS, but it just doesn't fit into this location. I'm not against building 40Bs, but because we were going to have houses behind us, which was fine. But, and our concerns were the water and the runoff and the pesticides and traffic. The other thing is, you have a cul-de-sac with 56 apartment units. What if there's a fire? What if there's an emergency? How's a school bus going to turn around? You're going to have all those children out on Ferry Street waiting for the school bus? It just does not make sense, and I don't know, it's troubling. It's not a good spot for the project, I don't feel.
Well, I want, anyone else have a question? Because I want to keep it.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
John LaRosa, Birch
I'll give you
Road.
the last word.
Okay, John LaRosa, Birch Road. I'm concerned about crime, like, how would I would like to know from the Marshfield Police Department how comparative type of developments in Marshfield, say you have 100 apartments here and 100 houses here, is there more crime in apartments than there are 100 houses? Do you follow me? I mean, is it inherent in apartments? You know, because of specific reasons. I would like to know this from the Marshfield Police. Maybe there's some statistic.
So I think we got enough variety of questions.
I'm Judy Witcher, I've had my hand up for a long
okay.
time.
Okay.
I live at 284 Ferry Street.
What's your name?
Judy Witcher.
Judy Witcher.
Why do they get to cross a bridle path where no other homes or driveways cross the bridle path? Where is their frontage? For our homes, we need frontage. Our driveways cross right into our property. Where is theirs? And the biggest thing is, why do we have to remove dirt? Why can't it just stay where it is? Instead of us suffering for 18 months with big trucks and ruining our roads. Those are my 3 questions.
Okay, thank you.
I'm Dory Reed, Upland Road. I'm just curious about next steps, because from my understanding, there's a zoning meeting tomorrow
night.
regarding this?
Tomorrow night.
Regarding this issue?
Zoning tomorrow night.
Okay.
At the town hall. I believe at town hall.
But you're talking with the town about it now, so where do we stand? Like, is it going to be beneficial for us to all come tomorrow night?
Go. Absolutely.
Go. She said go.
In retrospect to her questions, how is there a zoning and appeals meeting on an issue that already has so many issues that even you as the board can't answer? How is it at a zoning and appeals meeting? How is it at that step?
This is the first step.
But
tomorrow night is the first step. It's going to be a long, drawn-out process.
Okay.
This is not going to be something overnight.
Sure.
We're going to, as I said before, we're going to talk to town council. We're going to make out a lot of we'll take all the comments, all the questions, and we're going to give them to town council and the ZBA as a comment from the Board of Public Works. These are our concerns. Your concerns are our concerns.
One last thing I want to ask you. I am concerned about, obviously, I don't know about anybody else here, but the property value of my house. If something like this comes in, does the value of my house go down when I go to sell it in, say, 10, 15 years? Absolutely. That's a huge concern because we all paid up for a house to live up that side of town. I'll be honest with you, we all did. And we like it there, and we want to keep it that way. And I think this is going to draw down the property value, and we definitely don't want that.
That's it.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
I'll give you the last question. Go ahead. Last question.
I'm Bonnie Owens, Old Main Street, and I believe this is maybe the second or third time that this property has come up for development, and every time it seems to be big developments. I'm just wondering if there have been any other companies coming after it to do a different style of development there, whether it's big homes or if it's always been apartments in 40B.
Good question.
Okay, thank you. I want to thank everyone for coming to the Board of Public Works. Usually it's lonely here. You should come more often. Thank you. Together we'll support our town. We'll get answers.
I hope that everybody will go to
Is it tomorrow
night?
6 o'clock?
I'm not sure, you can find that.
On the website.
It's on the website. So, Mr. Cameraman, we're going to take a 5-minute break.
All right.
Thank you, folks. We're going to continue our meeting, so leave the room if you're not participating in the meeting.
If you're gonna check, go out in the hallway.
All right, our next discussion is indirect charges. We're going to pass over that for the next meeting. And then we're going to vote to accept the minutes. I did read the minutes. I don't know, I have no problem with them. I'm all set. They're very good. Thank you.
I didn't read the minutes because I was looking at this.
I was not present. I was spending $4,000 on a tooth.
Oh, boy.
I would have rather been here.
All right, I make a motion that we accept the minutes for November 13th, 2023. Do I have a second?
Second.
All
Oh,
in
I can't
favor?
vote because I wasn't there.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
2 ayes.
Aye, and I was not there, so I can't vote on it.
You were spending your money. You don't have anything to report, do you? Do you?
Not much, I mean,
Go ahead.
other than, we buttoned up some paving and, we had a little snow incident the other day, which, you know, was a good way to start off the year, just by a small incident, and we didn't have any issues.
Was there snow? Because there wasn't snow at my house.
There was nothing at
snow?
Red Rock.
There
It
was
all
no
here.
snow.
We had almost 2 inches up here.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The winter.
Yes, I went the back way.
We get everything finalized in the building, the generator was fired up today, and that ran fine, and got a couple of weeks, garage doors are getting looked at. But other than that, we're getting ready for the holiday and ready for winter. That's all I have.
Okay. All right, that's a good superintendent's report. Okay, so our next meeting is January 8th, 2024. Any comments? The chair will make a recommendation that we adjourn.
What is the,
Go ahead.
I do have a question about that, indirects, what, were we specifically talking about any or all? That we were gonna, we're not
All
talking
right,
about
but
tonight.
the indirects is what it was, is the number of totes in the dumpsters and all that equipment that receives the municipal trash.
Okay.
The residents are paying, the
Okay.
ratepayers are paying for those dumpsters.
Okay.
So I asked Ken Ryan to extrapolate the cost, because it's in the contract,
Okay,
and put it in the offsets,
okay.
because we shouldn't be
So that was
charging the ratepayers.
what specifically we were gonna.
But
okay.
Ken, I didn't get the report from Ken, so.
Well, Ken's on vacation this week,
Yeah, I
so it's a
know.
good idea that you
With that.
postponed it.
Okay,
Okay, I
All
make a
right, thank you.
motion, okay, any more?
no, that was it.
All right, anything for you, Bob?
No, I'm all done.
Okay, I make a motion that we adjourn this meeting of December 11th, 2023. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.